peccatoribus.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While the disciples were listening, Jesus went on to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem, where they thought that the reign of God was about to appear. He said, "A man of noble birth went to a faraway country to become its king and then returned. He summoned 10 of his servants and gave them sums of 10 units each, saying to them, 'Invest these until I get back.' But his fellow citizens despised him, and they immediately sent a deputation after him with instruction to say, 'We will not have this man rule over us.' He returned, however, crowned as king. Then he sent for the servants to whom he had given the money to learn what profit each had made. The first presented himself and said, 'Lord, the sum you gave me has earned you another 10.' 'Good man,' he replied, 'you showed yourself capable in a small matter, for you can take over 10 villages.' The second came and said, 'Your investment, my lord, has netted you 5.' The Lord said to him was, 'Take over 5 villages.' The third came in and said, 'Here is your money, my lord, which I hid for safekeeping. You see, I was afraid of you because you are a hard man. You withdraw what you never deposited. You reap what you never sowed.' To him the king said, 'You worthless lout, I intend to judge you on your own evidence. You knew I was a hard man, withdrawing what I never deposited, reaping what I never sowed. Why then did you not put my money out on loan, so that on my return I could get it back with interest?' He said to those standing around, 'Take from him what he has and give it to the man with the 10. "'Yes, but he already has 10, they said. He responded with, 'The moral is, whoever has will be given more, but the one who has not will lose the little he has.' Now about those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king, bring them in and slay them in my presence." Having spoken thus, he went about with his ascent to Jerusalem. The Gospel of the Lord. Let us all be seated. Today is Wednesday of the 33rd week of the year, and the Gospel continues to teach us what preparation we must have before either we die or if we reach the general judgment day. The Gospel for today from St. Luke is very similar to the Gospel of St. Matthew, wherein he described the parable of the talents. This is the reason precisely why, to have perfect faith, we must know and listen to all the gospel teachings of Christ. Today's gospel, for instance, is not read on Sundays. It is read only today on a Wednesday. So if we only hear Mass on Sundays, we would miss so many Gospels that are read only during weekdays. And that's precisely the reason why it is encouraged that we hear daily Mass, because the other Gospels are not read on Sundays, but are read only during the daily Mass. The Gospel for today tells us about a nobleman who went away for a journey, and he called his 10 servants and gave each one of them 1 talent each. One servant invested his 1 talent and earned 10 more. The next servant invested and used very well also his 1 talent and earned 5 more. The third servant just kept his talent for safekeeping, did not invest it, and never earned even 1. He just kept 1 talent and he did not add any to it. That is the third. Then there are 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, up to the 10th servant who did exactly nothing with the talent. And these remaining 7 are those who did not want Christ to be their king. And so as the gospel ends, Christ ordered them killed or punished. So it seems that for every 10 persons, God gives talents to everyone. These talents could be all the things that you have, either spiritual or physical, knowledge on how to go to heaven, or wealth or possession or anything. Every good thing that we have are talents given to us by God. Everybody has. All the 10 servants received talents. Let us look at the first 2 servants who multiplied their talents. To one servant, 1 talent was given, and he was able to make it earn 10 times more. Who is this servant? This is the servant who has perfect faith. When you have perfect faith, you will know how your talents are to be used. All of those talents are supposed to be used for good works. In other words, you must use all your talents to save your souls and to save the souls of other people. That is a person with faith. You cannot do that unless you have faith, because only to people that the Holy Spirit give wisdom and knowledge on how to use all their talents to form and accomplish good works for the salvation of their souls and the souls of other people. The symbol of this servant with 1 talent who earned 10 more is the symbol of the servant who has perfect faith and the beginnings of charity. He is a very good Christian, a very good Catholic, who has been endowed by the Holy Spirit with wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and so he knew very well how to use everything that God has given him, his talents, for the salvation of his soul and the souls of other people. And precisely because he has so much wisdom, he saved many people, symbolized by 10. That means almost everybody he got in contact with was helped in their salvation. He knew all the teachings of Christ very well. The second servant had also only 1 talent, but he was only able to invest it and earn 5 or 3 more. This is the symbol of one who have less charity and less faith. And so, his talent was only increased into 5, representing the 5 moral virtues. He did not have all the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that the first one had, only the moral virtues. The first servant had the theological virtues, which are the superior and higher virtues. The second had just the natural virtues, which are called the moral virtues. But he had virtues, so he was able to save his soul and the souls of other people, except he was able to save less. So the first one was able to rule 10 villages, that is, sort of 10 communities of Catholic communities, while the second one was only able to rule over 3 or 4 or 5 communities, much less, because less earnings for his talent. The third one also had 1 talent. But instead of increasing his earnings with a talent, he hid it in a handkerchief. He just hid it, kept it. St. Thomas of Aquin said he used his talents just to satisfy his body, to satisfy the desires and needs of his body, not of his soul. And so he had no talent to use to save other souls. This is what happens when everything that God has given you, spiritual or physical, natural or financial, are just kept. It is not used for good works, just kept safe, as the gospel says. And so it was not used for his personal salvation, and they were not used for the salvation of other souls. And what was his sentence? Christ ordered that his one talent that he just kept without using them for good works, which practically everybody is doing these days. They're just spending what they need to satisfy their body, and all the rest are just kept in the banks or anywhere else for safekeeping. Christ ordered that his one talent taken away from him as a punishment, and so he ended up without any talent, not even the one that was given to him. The gospel tells us that to go to heaven and face God's judgment, you must have talents, and you must have earned more with that talent to go to heaven. God gives you one, you must increase your talent and earn either 10 more or 5 more, or at least 1 more. If you had earned nothing, God at the end will even take that one talent from you, and when you face his judgment seat, you have nothing to save your soul. And so we have the 4th servant, the 5th, the 7, 8, and the 10th servant who refused to have Christ as their king. And so they all misuse all the talents given to them. And what does the gospel says? They were all slain by order of Christ himself. So the gospel for today prepares us for death and the second coming of Christ during his general judgment. And the lesson is God has given all of us talents, both spiritual, physical, and worldly talents. We must use all of them in order to save our souls and to save the souls of others. It is by saving the souls of others that the talents are multiplied to 10, to 5, or at least earn 1 more, just 1 more. And the lesson is clear. If you fail to use your talents to increase them, God will punish you. What did Christ say to the man who just kept his talents safe? You should have given it to the bankers because they are the experts in making money grow. They are the experts in making talents grow, who are the bankers? Those who have faith, hope, and charity. Like the first servant, like the second servant, they are the bankers who know exactly how to use the talents to make them earn 10 more, 5 more, and at least 1 more. If you do not have the faith in order to use them properly, give it, Christ says, at least to the bankers so they can make it increase in its earnings. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.